let's actually go over to Pokemon Unite, 'cause this is interesting. The Pokemon Unite video on Nintendo's channel is I think the most disliked video now, beating out Federation Force actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's apparently
in such a short period of time too. It's nice.
A worse reception than that. Yes, Federation Force. We're on Federation Force level for this one.
But Federation Force was good.
Wow. No.
Okay, that your opinion is wrong, Sean.
It was mediocre.
It wasn't
I think it was mediocre, and the problem was that it had a Metroid name attached to it. I think if you strip away the Metroid name of that game, people would have been a little bit more accepting. But considering the Metroid Prime games, you sort of have a level of expectation with those games, and that game did not meet those expectations.
They announced the Metroid. They announced a Metroid game, and it wasn't the Metroid game anyone wanted at that time.
And it's nobody wants it ever though.
This sounds like a very familiar story to the Pokemon Unite stuff.
Nobody would ever want Metroid Prime Federation Forces. That's the thing. There was never a right time to talk about that game.
Had they not abandoned the Metroid franchise for such a long period of time, and then this came out and they were still showing the franchise some love, Federation Force wouldn't have been the scapegoat and just been brutalized by the fan base.
Mediocre. 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I guess that's not the same situation here because the new Pokemon game just came out like last year. Whether people like it, I mean, obviously there was a lot of controversy with it, but I don't really think that there's anything that they could have shown that wasn't going to be controversial because there's a lot of fans that are saying, hey, they need to take more time to make a Pokemon game where people.
The biggest problem is that they easily could have attached these 11 minutes to the week before. That if this was an announcement that came after Snap 2, everyone would just give their opinions on it. There'd be no backlash.
Or
but
what if it was just
they tease you to come back a week later to sell a game that majority of people were not expecting because there was a lot of hype and we're going to be back next week talking about something, all the Johto stuff behind them teasing like, okay, maybe there is some Let's Go Johto or maybe the Gen 4 remakes, which let's be real, I didn't think they were going to announce it at this point in the year. It's a weird time to announce those, especially when the DLC just dropped. But of course, since they're working with Tencent, I very much believe that Tencent wanted to make sure this was a standalone announcement, and that's why it was split. And this seems to be a pretty big backlash, and it's really not towards the game. I think people genuinely have a problem with it being a MOBA, but it's really not because it's a MOBA. People are just angry of how they went about announcing it and how they treated the fan base.
Yeah, because I showed it to Evan, right? I showed you the trailer. Evan's probably, I guess, the biggest MOBA person on this.
Maybe
on this
I
podcast.
don't know. I don't know your histories, but yeah.
I mean, does anyone play Dota 2?
No, never. I don't play Dota. I've watched like League of Legends and stuff on Twitch, like when they have like those big old huge events. Like I've seen those. I don't know what the hell's happening, but it's cool.
Congratulations, Evan. You were the MOBA person on the podcast.
I'm the expert.
Okay, so I showed you that, and you immediately started talking about strategies and all kinds of stuff. How it was a bit different from MOBAs you've seen.
It's a little different. It's way more casual, of course. Which I mean, when you look at the Venn diagram of Pokemon's community, casual and Pokemon kind of cross a lot.
What you trying to say?
It's fine, and since it's on cell phone and Switch, it should work in those areas. You're not going to need the detail of a mouse click. It's just kind of like telling things to go places quickly. Not really having to deal with much.
I would like to have seen Pokemon try and since they have the Pokemon trading card game online. Like that's like their one like PC an app-based game. I would like to have seen them try to get this on a PC.
I'm surprised.
The thing is, PC has emulation for Android and everything else. So,
sure, but a dedicated release would have been appreciated. I would have liked to have seen that effort, especially with Tencent behind it. It's not like Tencent doesn't have the money to help develop that.
I feel like if it does take off in the way they think it's going to, they might start to expand it.
I am looking forward to I'm not a MOBA player, but I would give it a shot based on Pokemon.
If you're
try it.
If you're not a MOBA player, this one, from what I've seen, this is the one you're gonna want to start with because
I mean, it seems pretty basic and easy, and the gameplay seems all right. And if it gets me into learning how to the basics of it, cool.
Just
maybe I'll get into
Team Arena,
And if not, it's free to start, and I don't have to pay for anything if I don't want it.
That's true. You can just try it. You can just download it.
That's exactly what I said when I first saw it. I'm like, I've never played a MOBA before, but it's free to play. It's on Switch. I'm willing to give it a shot. And very clearly, if you look at I think the 12 heroes they had. It's very heavily skewed toward Gen 1 and that nostalgia. So I think it will be fairly successful despite the downvotes on YouTube. I think people will give it a shot when it actually launches because it's free.
I think it was just the reaction, really. It was just the expectation versus reality there. And, when the game comes out, like you said, people will probably try. Like Evan, we'll probably make Evan try it just to see what he thinks about it. Oh boy. It's going to be there on the Switch anyway, and you'll probably just be like, okay, it's free to play. Just download it.
The biggest thing is that this isn't, and the reason why it's so heavily like Gen 1 skewed, I think at least 7 of those Pokemon that they showed.
7, yeah.
Yeah, 7 of them were all Gen 1, and the rest were just kind of randomly picked out. This is really the biggest and first foray into China getting introduced to Pokemon and being allowed to be introduced to Pokemon. There's been kind of this bar of the Chinese government not allowing Pokemon to really be a thing there. And this is the first time we're seeing a Japanese company work with Tencent and bring something and introduce it. So I understand why there's going to be Gen 1 for now. They'll probably League of Legends it and add characters and add more Pokemon.
You probably have to buy Pokemon, I assume, right?
100% you're going to have to buy them. Probably skins too, other stuff like that. You probably have to buy shiny variants. I don't know. Random stuff like that. But I'm excited to see the possibilities. I'm happy that more people in the world now can get introduced to Pokemon because of this. And if that's the best thing that happens because of this, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Just they didn't pull it off well. Like the overall.
No, the presentation was bad. It should have just been part of the week before.
If this was just if it wasn't even that, Jordan, and you think they just dropped a trailer on YouTube and then they just tweeted it out and like it wasn't a build up, they just dropped it. Do you think that would have gone even better? Yeah.
I think there's still a little bit of reaction because it's not what people are wanting, but that's with any fan base at this point. Everyone just always wants the next thing, and if it's not the exact thing they're looking for, and I think we're all guilty of this at some point. Like Last of Us wasn't what I wanted, so yeah, I'm a little disappointed and angry and vocal about it, and it happens. It causes a reaction. Sometimes that happens.
But that was after you played it, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, specifically after I played it, but obviously, like.
Were you going and downloading Neil Druckmann's messages and all that, and all of the videos?
I was waiting for a Last of Us 2, right? And they showed me the trailer for Last of Us 2, and all of a sudden Last of Us 2 is a MOBA. I'd be pretty disappointed. I'd be like, what is this, right? Like, if I'm waiting for that next Pokemon announcement in my head telling me it's going to be this thing in my head.
But why would people be expecting that? We just got Pokemon Sword and Shield last year.
I know, but that's the fan base. Every time there's a Pokemon announcement, it's either the meme of it's either Snap 2 or the next Pokemon game. One of those things came true last week. Pokemon got all that goodwill, which I kind of feel like they announced Pokemon Snap for that goodwill. Hoping that they could just kind of be like, and here's a MOBA.
It's kind of like when Dead Island got announced as a MOBA for a little bit there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think they underestimated Pokemon Snap 2. I mean, they should have ended with that. And they announced Pokemon Snap 2, and then they announced something for Pokemon Go. I think they underestimated how big Pokemon Snap was going to be, and if they did, they would have ended it with that. And I agree. If you put the MOBA somewhere in the middle and then end with Pokemon Snap, people are going to be talking about Pokemon Snap, and people would be way more accepting of the MOBA. Eventually. But it wouldn't have gotten that negative reaction if you ended with Pokemon Snap, but had the MOBA announcement somewhere in the middle there.
This all seems like semantics to me. It's still the same damn game that's coming at this point. I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's like, well, we're worried about placement of when things are announced. It was 20 minutes total between 2 presentations over 2 weeks. Like, I don't know. That just seems like ridiculous semantics.
It's just the way they announced it, and that's what upset people. They feel that they got duped into waking up early a week later for something. But that's not a Pokemon. It's some on Pokemon, and it's some on the fan. And that's
that's marketing. I mean, that's what you see from these companies in this age of social media marketing.
I'm not mad about it. I just said, okay, whatever. That's what they did. I watched
look at every Nintendo Direct. You have the people coming, oh my God, we're going to get Metroid Prime 5, Grand Theft Auto 6, Mother 3, Mother 4, Mother 5, Father 1. And then they don't get any of them. They sit there, why did I wake up at 9 in the morning?
Well, that's just people. I can go on Twitter right now saying, I think there's a Direct happening next week. Then people are going to go, what? If it happens, this is what I want. I'm going to make 7 videos on it. I'm going to make 85 tweets about it. Then it doesn't happen. Then I'll be, dang it, Nintendo, I can't believe it. Hopefully there's hope for next week. That's the cycle of all this stuff. Whatever fan base you're in, or whatever
we do is we consume and consume and consume, and we're always
consume and regurgitating information. That's the internet speedway with all this information. Yeah. You learn things, you say things, and then you either get disappointed or excited.
I wouldn't even go as far as we learn things. We consume it, you don't digest it. We're just looking for the next bit. It's just, here's a plate of food, you eat it. It's like, where's the next plate? You don't even have time to enjoy it. It's, I have to see the next thing.
That's how
but it's also dependent from person to person. That's all.